This episode is brought to you by the Bluesound Node. Unlock a world of high-res music streaming and multi-room audio for existing hi-fi systems or your favorite set of powered speakers with the Node.
What kind of single streaming loudspeaker can you buy for around 200 euros? You could buy a Bluetooth speaker like this, a large one, they sell for roughly 200 bucks. Or you can do as I did last week and go to IKEA and pick up one of their Symfonisk picture frames that's actually a streaming loudspeaker. It's on the wall up here. And this streaming loudspeaker does AirPlay, it does Spotify Connect, but I guess most importantly of all, it's a fully fledged Sonos device. This is probably one of the cheapest ways to get into Sonos, by going to IKEA. I'll just pull it down and we can have a look at it. So this is basically a Sonos speaker in the shape of a piece of wall art. They also make it in black. There are interchangeable covers. I did see the photo of them in IKEA, but I couldn't see them themselves, so we're just stuck with this one. It's kind of okay, I guess, really. But if we turn it around, you can see that it's kind of that sort of Sonos type plastic. There is an Ethernet port here, mains is here. This is for tucking cable away in here, and then yeah, if you've got a loose cable, it goes there. Wall mount, so you can mount it sideways or in a portrait fashion. I choose portrait. So that's what it looks like. I'm just going to put it back on the wall and then we can talk a bit more about it. Now here's the interesting thing, is that I went into buying this speaker thinking, yeah, it's going to sound a bit crap, but it's a novelty and I'll give it a whirl. But it actually sounds pretty damn good. I think Sonos / IKEA, whoever developed this, have overcooked the mid bass or the mid to upper bass a little bit. But luckily we could EQ that in the Sonos app. I did that, I took it down 2 stops, but the clarity is pretty good, the dynamics is pretty good, and for a single speaker it sounds quite big. It definitely sounds bigger than this. So the takeaway here is that it's not terrible. And I deal with all sorts of very, very high-end audio gear, and I guess the skill with a product like this is to sort of reframe one's expectations given the price point, the context, the target market. But even in doing that, it's still not terrible. It's not atrocious. The obvious thing here is that because it's a single unit, there is no stereo separation, left and right channel. Now you might think, well, why not buy 2 of them and then stereo pair them? Because you can inside the Sonos app. Remember, this is a Sonos speaker in basically an IKEA designed picture frame. I think that buying 2 is a bit too much, financially speaking, because it's nudging 400 euros. And I think you could get a fantastic pair of active stand mounts from people like Adam or Sonos, or especially in the pro audio sector, really good pair of active stand mounts. Add a very cheap Raspberry Pi streamer and you'd have a kick-ass setup. It would certainly do better bass than this thing because, like I say, it's a bit overcooked, it's a bit meh. But the thing is that I don't really necessarily see this as primarily a music speaker. So with that slightly thicker mid bass, it means that the Symfonisk wall frame speaker is pretty damn good with voices. In fact, it's really good. And here's the other thing, is that I'm not an audiophile in every room of my house. I used to want to have a hi-fi system in here and then a hi-fi system in there and then in my bedroom. But I think over the years I've realized I just want one good hi-fi system in my lounge, and then really, rather than sort of foist my audiophile thinking onto situations where it doesn't really fit, it's better to choose situation appropriate gear. And I see two really good use cases for this Sonos speaker on the wall. Firstly, we know that TV speakers generally suck. If you're running an Apple TV, you can send the audio out to a second AirPlay device. So you could have an Apple TV running into a normal, obviously a normal TV, and the Apple TV sends its audio only, over AirPlay to the Symfonisk speaker. So you could have this like behind your TV or in front of your TV or somewhere near your TV. And it could be sort of like a TV speaker. But the reason we're in my kitchen today and the reason it's up on the wall here is this is where I'm going to use it, because I used to try and put like active speakers up on the top of my cabinets, and it does work, but it's fiddly. And the thing is about a Bluetooth speaker, this is also case appropriate or situation appropriate for this room, but you have to manage the battery on this. I want basically a situation where I can just come down in the morning while I'm making coffee, pick up my phone and just punch in a podcast. I listen to this like Berlin news bulletin every morning. It's like 3 or 4 minutes and it's fantastic. It's super informative. I want to be able to do that. I don't want to have to think, oh, is my Bluetooth speaker charged and all that kind of stuff. Besides, this sounds much better, much fuller, richer, bigger. And so I've got it on the wall in my kitchen as my kitchen speaker. And so I can play music when friends come over, and I don't have to then go into this huge explanation of what it is I've got behind me in my lounge. And equally, you know, when I come down in the mornings to make coffee, I don't have to kind of go, okay, what amp input and then what DAC input and then, because I have obviously, you know, fairly complicated gear relative to Sonos. One of the great things about Sonos is it's super easy to use. Spotify Connect is a real boon. AirPlay is good if you like using Apple devices. I did check the voice sync with my MacBook. I was playing some YouTube and having the AirPlay audio go after this morning, and it's only just a little bit out, which is why I think it's just good enough for augmenting a TV. But in the kitchen, I think it's an absolute winner, and I think I would quite happily also have one in my hallway upstairs. And of course, another benefit of AirPlay is that I can stream Roon to it, so I can have this as a Roon endpoint in my house. So all up, I'm super impressed that this IKEA speaker doesn't suck, and it's appropriate for my kitchen or for using it as a TV speaker or in my hallway or even in my bedroom, because I don't have a hi-fi system in my bedroom anymore. Yeah, this is a real surprise for me. Anyway, this is not going to be the last bit of IKEA Symfonisk hardware we look at. I'll be tackling that in a future video. But if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. If you like my attitude towards high-end audio, in that it also encompasses Sonos and IKEA stuff, then please subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you ever so much for watching. And I'm talking really quickly because the sun's coming out and it's ruining our video. Thank you.